Introduction: the attention economy. Somewhere, right now, someone is scrolling. Not because they decided to, because a system built by very smart people decided for them. We call it brain rot like it's a new disease. Like it showed up out of nowhere the day short-form video was invented. It didn't. What we're living through right now has a name most people have never heard: the attention economy. A world where your focus, your minutes, your 15-second windows of consciousness are the actual product being bought and sold. Not the content. You. But here's the twist nobody tells you in the doom-scrolling think pieces. This isn't the first time in human history someone tried to hijack the human mind. And it's not the first time humans figured out how to fight back. So let's go back. Way back. Because the ancient world already had an answer for this. We just forgot to look. Plato on the power of attention and the soul. Start with Plato, a few thousand years before anyone had a phone to doom scroll on. Plato believed the soul wasn't one single thing, but a kind of internal tug-of-war. Reason on one side, trying to steer toward truth and the good. Appetite and impulse on the other, constantly pulling toward whatever feels good right now. Sound familiar? Plato's whole philosophical project, in a lot of ways, was about training that inner reasoning part to actually stay in charge. Not because pleasure is evil, but because a mind that's constantly yanked around by impulse never gets the chance to see anything clearly. He wasn't worried about short-form video, obviously. He was worried about rhetoric, spectacle, cheap entertainment, and shallow persuasion, all of which existed in ancient Athens in their own analog form. Different packaging, same basic hijack. The ancient Greeks and intellectual influence. The Greeks built an entire culture around the idea that attention was something you trained, not something you just had. Philosophy wasn't a subject you studied for a test. It was closer to a discipline, the way you train a muscle. Long-form dialogue, actual sustained arguments, sometimes lasting hours. People sitting with hard questions instead of swiping past them. Compare that to right now, where the average piece of content you consume barely survives longer than it takes to read this sentence. The ancient world wasn't smarter than us. They just built systems that rewarded depth. We built one that rewards speed. Stoic and Aristotelian perspectives on reflection. The Stoics took this even further. Thinkers like the ones behind Stoic philosophy built entire daily practices around reflection, journaling, examining your own reactions instead of just having them. The idea was simple. You don't control what happens to you. You control your response to it. And the only way to control your response is to actually slow down long enough to notice you're having one. Aristotle came at it from a slightly different angle. He believed the good life required something called contemplation, sustained, undistracted engagement with ideas, as one of the highest things a human being could do. Undistracted. Let that word sit for a second, because that's the entire crisis of the modern attention economy. Wrapped up in one word an ancient philosopher used a couple thousand years before your phone buzzed for the fourth time during this sentence. The engineering of modern distractions. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Modern distraction isn't an accident. It's engineered. Teams of actual behavioral scientists studying dopamine loops, variable reward schedules, the exact color of a notification badge that makes your brain check it faster. The ancient world had rhetoric and spectacle. We have algorithms trained on billions of data points, learning exactly what keeps your specific brain hooked and adjusting in real time. This isn't a mustache-twirling conspiracy. It's just business. Attention is the product. And an entire industry has been built, very successfully, around making sure you never quite finish the thought you started having. The loss of sustained attention and deep thought. The result is what we casually call brain rot. But underneath the jokes, there's something genuinely being lost. Sustained attention, the ability to sit with a hard idea long enough to actually understand it, isn't just a nice bonus skill. It's the foundation underneath almost everything humans consider meaningful. Deep relationships, real expertise, original thought that isn't just a remix of the last 10 things you scrolled past. When attention fragments, thought fragments with it. You end up with a mind full of information and strangely empty of understanding. Plenty of input, almost no depth. That's not a personal failure. That's the predictable result of a system built, quite literally, to prevent exactly the kind of sustained focus philosophy has always considered essential to being fully human. Historical disciplines of the mind. So how did people, throughout history, actually protect their minds from exactly this kind of hijacking? Disciplines. Actual, repeated practices, not vague intentions. Monastic traditions built entire daily structures around silence and single-pointed focus. Philosophical schools built structured dialogue that forced you to follow one argument all the way through, instead of hopping to the next stimulus the second interest dipped. Even simple practices, like memorization or slow, careful reading of a single text, functioned as a kind of mental resistance training. None of these people had phones to resist, but they clearly understood something we're only now relearning the hard way. The mind left completely undisciplined will always drift toward whatever's easiest, loudest, and most immediate. Discipline wasn't punishment. It was protection. AI and the outsourcing of human thought. Now here's the part that makes this whole conversation even more urgent. We're not just fighting short-form video anymore. We're entering an age where thinking itself can be outsourced, where you can hand over the actual reasoning, the analysis, the synthesis to something else entirely, and just receive the polished output. That's not inherently a bad thing. Tools that think alongside us can be incredible, but there's a very real risk hiding underneath the convenience. A mind that never has to struggle with a hard problem slowly loses the capacity to struggle with hard problems at all. The muscle that isn't used atrophies. That was true for attention in the age of short-form video. It's about to become true in a much bigger way for reasoning itself in the age of AI. Modern disciplines for an AI age. So what actually works right now, today, against all of this? Not moral panic. Not throwing your phone into a lake. Actual, repeatable disciplines, the same basic category of tool humans have been using for thousands of years, just updated for the current fight. Scheduled, deep focus, protected and undisturbed, the way ancient philosophers protected time for contemplation. Deliberate slow reading of long material, on purpose, specifically because it's hard. Regular reflection, writing your actual thoughts down instead of just consuming everyone else's. And a conscious, ongoing awareness of when a tool, whether it's an app or an AI, is helping you think versus quietly thinking for you. None of this is new advice. It's the oldest advice there is. It just has a new opponent to be aimed at. Conclusion. Brain rot feels like a uniquely modern crisis. The specific weapons are new. The war itself is ancient. Plato saw it in rhetoric. The Stoics built entire disciplines around resisting it. Augustine diagnosed the restless hunger underneath it, centuries before anyone could put that hunger in your pocket. The mind has always been worth fighting for, because the mind, undisciplined, will always drift toward whatever's loudest and easiest in the moment. The tools trying to hijack your attention have gotten dramatically more advanced. The defense, it turns out, was written down a long time ago. We just have to actually go read it. Slowly, all the way through. Subscribe to Cooked. For more on how brain rot content is reshaping the human mind and what history already taught us about fighting back.